Hello everyone, here I am today again sharing my multidimensional experiences. I just love talking about this stuff. This is your magnetic field. Forget about these two for now. Let's say this is your magnetic field, but this is also the planet's magnetic field. And this is your energetic field. This is also the planet's energetic field, the magnetic field, the toroidal field. You can see how many layers it has. I want to just add one thing here. When I lived in Guatemala for 1 year in the jungle, 2011, I met a guy from USA. He started an institute that time called HeartMath Institute, and they actually could already that time prove scientifically that we have a magnetic field which is centered in the heart. So this magnetic field that you have, that is scientifically proven, and the planet has the heart chakra in the center, as the center. That's why I call the heart chakra as the center of the universe always. When something happens to you in your life that needs to change your direction in a very drastic way, it can be anything, but let's take an example which is the most penetrative example I would say, or the most obvious, the most thing that might shake up things very effectively, is when you meet someone, another person who has an aspect of your soul or your higher self actually that you're supposed to meet at the right time. And because that aspect of that person that you have is vibrating on such high frequency, because you vibrate on the same frequency, and you are ready to meet that person because you are ready to meet something inside you. So that person carries an aspect of you that you have to integrate in that moment, no matter if you will be together or not. And this happens a lot right now because we are awakening, not only awakening to our soul, but also integrating our gifts. And to be able to integrate, first you have to awaken and understand that everything is an illusion. And then the next step is to actually integrate it. And that's where I come in with the soul journeys, what I've been sharing in other videos, these multidimensional journeys where we clear the inner vessel. So this toroidal field is activated through that experience when something happens in your life that has to shake up everything you knew before about yourself. You have to unlearn everything that you knew about yourself in order to become who you really are. So that comes with all the patterns that you have learned, all the ways of thinking, the ways of behaving with people, because you think that that's you, because that's what you are used to in your life. And that's a pattern. But you always end up coming to the same issues and the same repetitive cycles in your life because you are on an autopilot, basically. So when things happen in your life, it can be a disease, it can be an accident, it can be a person coming into your life shaking things up because that person has exactly that vibration that you need in that moment to shake things up. And you think that you are so attracted to that person, and maybe you are, but there's a reason for it. The higher the connection it is in a higher self plane, the more activating it is. And that what it activates, or that situation in life that comes and changes your whole life, is what it does is activating more of that life force inside you. And again, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it chi, you can call it kundalini. I sometimes even call it the inner volcano, because again, this toroidal field, this magnetic field of the planet, is activated through the volcanic eruptions. The volcanic eruptions opens this field. and expands it. And there are many layers because we are multidimensional. The planet is also multidimensional because we are the planet, basically. It has many bodies, causal body, astral body, and so on. Physical body, etheric body, astral body. Maybe I mentioned it already. Anyway, so it has many, many, many layers, many, many multidimensional, many versions of this planet exists. So it all depends on what version of this planet you exist in inside yourself. Which frequency are you vibrating in? And that depends on how much you have cleared out the baggage from your consciousness as a memory stored in your body that does no longer serve you, who you truly are, who you're meant to be when you become more of this expanded version of this magnetic field opening and clearing out what doesn't serve. And these things here is not a very beautiful drawing. Anyway, these things here, this is activating from below, this kundalini, from which is the same as sexual energy, but it does nothing to do with sex. It's just spirit wanting to come free, alive. So you might feel it more because it's time to transmute something. It's for, again, the inner volcano. It comes out and it clears out, it burns out, it explodes out the old stagnant energies. And then there is a cosmic force from above because we have chakras below our feet in connection to the inner earth. And then we have chakras above our heads. And they come more together and pressure this so that we can expand energy from the middle of the heart chakra. So all these old patterns that you are ready to really deal with, so they are more visible, they are more seen when you encounter a situation in your life or a person in your life who awakens that in you. Actually, the pain and pleasure goes hand in hand. So this life force, this pleasurable creative force, life force inside you that comes from the root chakra and goes up. If you attach to that energy as a pleasure, that is confusing you and you get attachments. And the more attachments you have to that energy, to that pleasurable feeling, the more destruction you have to also face, because there's nothing to hold on to in life. There's only transmutation of energies. When you have a connection with someone who vibrates in high frequency, on the same frequency like you, but in as a that represents your higher self, which is on a higher dimensional field, existing on this physical plane, which is part of that same higher self, you can say, or an aspect of your soul, it has this ability to shake up things that are no longer of matching of that version of you, of that higher version of you, of your higher mind, your higher self, who is unconditional at the core. So when you, whatever you encounter in your life, if you know that this is because this is something mirroring back something to you, what you have to deal with inside you, then you will be able to be in a dance, in an interplay, for example, a person where you trust that you meet when you're supposed to meet, and you distance yourself when you're supposed to distance yourself. And this will be a lasting thing or it will not. But all it does really is reflecting back to that love that you really are. And if you haven't loved yourself enough, you haven't let go of this baggage, this consciousness of these repetitive patterns from your past that you have grown up with enough, then it's not sustaining that love feeling energy, that pleasurable energy. you have to basically give that first to yourself, that you can, in order to give that to others. And the more you attach to the pleasurable feeling, the more attached you are and needing that from others. And then you push them away, or then you attract something that is destructive basically. But anyway, whatever happens is supposed to happen, because destruction has to happen in order to open. So like, that's why you say you have to break your heart in order to open your heart. So all these repetitive patterns, like these belief systems of going into a lot of thoughts, or people pleasing, or addictions, whatever they are, it's again unconsciously searching for something outside of ourselves that we already are inside us. But because we don't know that, because of the way we grew up, we search for that from outside of us. So in order to shift that, really, is to train, but it's not to train your mind, because the mind is an entity, almost like a separate entity living by itself. It's connected to the body, but it's more up here as that kind of version of our body. Then we have the physical body, but it's really through the soul body, which is experienced as emotions, as energies inside your physical body, that we actually get the shift through in this physical form. So instead of trying to be aware of your mind all the time and how you're thinking, that doesn't really bring the long-term change in you. You have to go inside the body and fully feel right here, right now, without any substances, without any extra stuff. That's when you really get the change. And really go into that as a consciousness in your body. So all these loops, cycles, patterns of thoughts, of same stuff we repeat in our lives, same stuff, thoughts, feelings, emotions, energies, relationships, mistakes. Even though we move up in a ladder, of course, we learn by the experiences, but it's really about going into the consciousness in the body to get to the root of it in the subconscious mind in the body, where you really can unlock it. But I would say it's the soul and not the subconscious, the soul level in the body. And these memories that you store in the body are all related to past lives too, because there is no time. So when you unlock these consciousnesses in the body from deep states of relaxation, from connecting to the quantum field, you actually, or your higher self, you actually are able to open these and go into them and really bring them out to the awareness and feel them and then transmute them. So that's why sometimes we go back to memories in past life, because they are all related to this life and right now what you're going through actually. In that way you're making space here and you're becoming a higher frequency inside your physical body. And in that way you are integrating more of your higher self, of these higher minds, of these other bodies that are in multidimensional realms. You are more expanding your physical body's energy, expanding, so you're becoming more bigger in a magnet basically. And you are able to, when you become a stronger magnet, your magnetic field becomes more bigger, you're able to repel what doesn't serve you, and you're able to attract what serves your higher self. So you're able to trust that unique essence that you already are inside you, that other people can only be a mirror of. So the traumas that you have had, everyone has traumas, that's not a big thing at all. It just basically means life lessons. So the way you grew up and the way you have repeated in your life, those traumas that stores as consciousness in your body are actually your gifts, but the gifts are always your burdens until you have gone into the traumas as energy in the consciousness and transmute them and clear them to make space more here inside, so you have more flow of energy. Then those traumas are transmuted into gifts, because that's why you are on earth, because on earth we go through a school. This is a school of life, and then we have lessons, and when we go into the lessons and really go into them as consciousness in the body and recognize them, feel them, transmute them, what we do is we change the way we exist in our physical form, our consciousness, awareness of our body. We become more light, basically. We become more grounded. Actually, to ground your energy means to clear your energy, clear your inner vessel, and you become more of that higher version of you. You become more of a master, you can say, because from this point of transmuting the traumas into your gifts and abilities, unlocking them from here inside your body through the quantum field, then you start to act differently in your life than you did before. So that's why when you change, other people from your past might say you have changed, and maybe they don't like it, but that's a good thing, because that just basically shows you that you are not acting in the same way like before. You're not reacting to the same things anymore. You are not that wounded from experiences like before. You're not overthinking about situations like before. You are not questioning yourself so much like before. You know your value, you know your worth, because you trust your energy more than what other people think. And you, even though you are psychically gifted that you feel other people's energies, it doesn't stay in you anymore, because you can recognize what is you and yours and others' feelings, and so on and so on. So your traumas becomes the gift. Instead of they become these burdens, this tiredness, this heavier energy. Instead, you know how to transmute energies more quickly through you. You know how to trust your energy so much that you know how to expand it. Yes, that's all for today.